Hi, welcome to Wednesday Wealth Wisdom. I know I've been talking a lot about saving for retirement. What we need to talk about coming up here in the near future is investing. And so how do we invest that money that we're saving? But before we talk about that, I want to talk about a couple factors that lead into why we need to invest. And what I want to talk about today is inflation. What is it? Why do we care about it? How does that lead into investing? So inflation is typically measured by the Consumer Price Index, and it's a measurement of what we're spending on common goods and services. So the Federal Reserve, and you probably have heard about them, they have a dual mandate. One is to get inflation down to around 4%, and the other is to keep inflation around 2%. So during COVID and afterwards, inflation skyrocketed, and it has steadily been coming down, but it's still, probably around 2.6, 2.7. So we have just a little bit of ways to go with keeping it at 2%. So let's have a little bit of an example of how inflation works. If you had a $100 bill and inflation was at 3%, the next year that $100 bill would be worth $97. So a little bite out of that. Or to look at another example, let's say in 2000, a gallon of milk, and I know that's a carton, I just can't draw a gallon, on average was $2.78. In 2025, that same gallon is now cost $4.39. And if we just wanted to project just sort of the difference between 2000 and 2025 out to 2050, that gallon of milk may cost $8. So every year we're kind of getting a bite out of our dollars, our income. Now, we actually do want a little bit of inflation. So if we had what's called deflation, meaning things would be cheaper in a year than they were today, then we wouldn't have a ton of incentive to go out and buy those goods and services. We'd wait till they were cheaper. That's not good. We need money to flow through our economy. So what has been established is that 2% rate of inflation seems to be a good number where it's just enough incentive for us to buy what we need today and not wait, but not be so prohibitively expensive. So you want your money to at least keep up with the rate of inflation and ideally beat it. When people say, oh, I'm just going to put my cash in a savings account at the bank or under the mattress, that way I'm not losing any money. Well, you are losing money. You're losing purchasing power. And that's a big deal. So you need to get your money in an investment that is, again, at least keeping up with the rate of inflation and ideally going much higher. So we'll talk about the different ways of investing coming up soon, but that's just my little 101 on what is inflation, and I hope you all have a great day.